we still have time, we might still get by. Every time I think about it, I want to cry. With bombs and the devil, and the kids keep coming. The way to breathe easy, no time to be young. But I tell myself that I was doing alright. There's nothing left to do at night but go crazy on you. Gonna go crazy on you too. Gonna go crazy, crazy on you. Crazy on you. Crazy on all of you tonight. Enjoy the show. And the world is crying in pain. What you gonna do when everybody's insane? So afraid of one who's so afraid of you. What you gonna do? Crazy on you! Gonna go crazy on you too! Gonna go crazy, crazy on you, and you, and you, and all of you tonight.
Sounds like a joke.
Crazy on you! Gonna go crazy, crazy on you too, asshole! You prick! Gonna go crazy on you! Crazy on you! Crazy on all of you tonight! Gonna go crazy, crazy on you! Gonna go crazy, crazy on you! Crazy on you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Hey gang, why did the compassionate nurse, yeah. Why did the compassionate nurse smother her patient to death with a pillow?
Why, Neil? Why?
Well, because she found out he was in dire straits. Why was it always so hot on stage at a Grateful Dead performance?
Why? Why, Neil?
Well, because none of their fans worked. It was in the news. And what was it that the Grateful Dead were so grateful for?
What?
Well, but all these buxom teenage hippie chicks would have sex with them even though they were clearly mentally retarded. And what was Corey Feldman, actor Corey Feldman, what was Corey Feldman's preferred brand of cat litter?
What?
Corey Haim. The late Corey Haim. Could you tell them who he was in the relationship that these men had over the years, these two actors? All right. Anybody celebrating a birthday here tonight? This looks like a birthday table over here, is it? No.
Yeah.
We got one birthday boy.
Yeah,
birthday lad.
Yeah.
Where's birthday girl?
This one is.
Whose birthday is it?
Mine.
It's your birthday.
It's my birthday.
What's the date today?
21st of August.
No, his story checks out. Happy birthday. What hospital were you born in?
Basingstoke Hospital.
All right, again, he's got the right answers. I do believe it is his birthday. You get these people that try to get free scoops of ice cream on their birthday and that type of thing, so you do have to weed out the freeloaders, penny pinchers, but you seem on the level, young man. Well, I've got something for you. It is a present. It's a birthday present that's going out exclusively to you tonight, straight from my heart into your hands or into your lap. It's a joke. It's a customized birthday joke, and I do hope that you appreciate it. The rest of you are free to listen in, but the joke leaves here with a young man over at table 6A. What is the only thing worse than getting a parking ticket on your birthday?
What?
Getting a Foo Fighters ticket on your birthday. But we have some other gags. Hey, friends, why did Johnny Depp's wife divorce him?
Why?
Well, because Amber heard his music. What is the worst thing? The worst thing about being sexually assaulted by a member of Foghat? Well, it's probably not even an original member. Who are the ghoulish, the ghastly, the horrific, the nightmarish, the archaic horror characters depicted on the back cover of every single Iron Maiden album? The guys in Iron Maiden. What did Larry Mullen Jr. What did Larry Mullen Jr. say when he unexpectedly encountered Bono at an underground urine drinking club? You too? Why are Eric Clapton's songs so dreary, so depressing, so slow and so inept? Well, because he's got a slow hand. That's nothing new, folks. That's been his nickname for years. He's got a problem. He's got a defect. He's clearly a bad musician. Why did Ozzy Osbourne, disgraced Black Sabbath vocalist Ozzy Osbourne, bite the head off of a chicken?
Why?
Well, because his wife is a horrible cook. No, it doesn't, because it's rooted in the truth, my friend. There was an incident that took place, I don't know if you know about this, it happened a couple years ago, where Mrs. Osbourne, Ozzy's beloved wife, Mrs. Osbourne, decided to make a dinner for her family and decided to make a nutritious dinner at that.
So she went down to the Bel Air meat market. If you're not familiar with the geography of Los Angeles, let me tell you, Bel Air is the nicest neighborhood, and the Bel Air meat market is the best meat market in the entire state. Mrs. Osborne purchased a good chicken. These were the best chickens that they had on offer, and that these chickens, in fact, were free-range, organically grown, humanely raised, grass-fed chickens that were flown down to Los Angeles each day from Bellingham, Washington. Now, the slaughterhouse there in Bellingham, before they freeze and ship these chickens, they do pluck the feathers off of the chicken carcass, but they do not cut the neck nor the feet off of the chicken. They just don't do that. They basically ship these chickens whole. And Mrs. Osborne purchased one of these chickens, and using the recipe found on page 46 of the Osborne Family Cookbook, she decided to make Ozzy's favorite recipe, his fried chicken that his mother used to make him. Now, the recipe, if you don't have the cookbook, and if you don't have the cookbook, you can get it for about 5 cents on Amazon.com. The recipe is this: cornflakes, 1 egg white, pinch of salt, pinch of black pepper, pinch of MSG, 1/4 cup of water, and wheat flour. That's the entire recipe. But Mrs. Osborne overbreaded this chicken. She overbreaded it. She overbattered it. So that by the time she removed it from the deep fryer, 45 minutes later, it didn't look like a chicken at all. It looked like a giant gelatinous blob, like a loaf of bread. And then Mrs. Osborne took this chicken and put it on a silver platter and brought it into the dining room and handed it to Ozzy Osbourne along with a platinum carving knife, a knife that was a gift to him from Epic Records back in 1982 to commemorate 4 million records sold. And then innocent Ozzy took the knife and cut what he believed to be the breast of the chicken. Well, folks, we can reveal here for the first time it wasn't the breast of the chicken at all. In fact, it was the neck and the head of the chicken. And then innocent Ozzy took a bite of this, believing it to be the breast. Well, it wasn't the breast. In fact, he inadvertently at that point bit the head off of this chicken. To this day, he has no idea what happened. And it wouldn't matter if he did know, because his brain was scrambled years ago from drug abuse. And his music reflects that. Oh boy. Why did Gene Simmons add a sombrero to his on-stage costume?
Why?
Complete desperation. Did you guys hear? This guy's got long hair. He would have heard about this. Did you hear what Gene Simmons, the legendary Kiss guitarist, what Mr. Simmons, Legend Simmons, did you hear what he did last year on Christmas Eve? Anyone hear about this? Wow, it made the news. Kiss's legendary guitarist, Gene Simmons, Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2016, the holiest of holidays. Mr. Simmons summoned his limousine driver and asked to be taken to Hollywood's legendary Sunset Strip. The limousine arrived around 10:45 p.m. on Christmas Eve, and then Mr. Simmons, Kiss guitarist Simmons, stepped out of the limousine and walked behind a hardware store behind which there was a dumpster under which were sleeping 2 homeless street winos. And then Gene Simmons himself, reached into his pocket, pulled out his wallet, and handed each of these street winos $700 in cash. Yeah. Oh. Merry Christmas, gentlemen. Folks, it's not that impressive. The two street winos were Ace Frehley and Peter Criss. These were their annual royalty payments. But seriously, gang, why did pea-brained, stupid, ugly, repugnant, physically repugnant Kiss guitarist Gene Simmons, grotesquely ugly, grotesquely untalented, garbage songs, it's all garbage. You know why they have the makeup? Because he's so ugly, so insecure about his own physical ugliness that he came up with this gimmick to make himself look like a rat. The other guys were just going to go out on stage as they were. The other guys are very handsome. But Mr. Simmons insisted that they put this rat makeup on too. One of them looks like a pig, one looks like a dog. To cover their faces, even though there was nothing wrong with their faces. It was just him. And he's even uglier inside. Nobody here can name one of their songs because none of the songs were hits. And they're not memorable and they don't stay in your head. And the audience at all the Kiss concerts that anyone's ever been to range in age from 3 to 7. That's it. It's just kids that like cartoons of rats. And this guy has a crappy restaurant. If you ever fly to Los Angeles, and I don't suggest that you do, but stay out of Terminal 1 because that's where Gene Simmons' Rock and Brew restaurant is. And the food's even worse than his music. They take old fries, old discarded French fries from other restaurants and reheat them under a heat lamp, sprinkle flour on them, and they try to pass that off. He's an ugly guy, he's a miserable, wretched, incompetent musician, 5 thumbs on each hand. Why did Mr. Simmons? And he's got a bad wig, he's got a real bad wig. Why did Gene, I am worth about 3 cents of dog shit in exchange, if you would exchange me for something, Simmons, legendary Simmons, why did Gene Simmons have original Kiss drummer Peter Criss's anus sewn shut?
Why?
To prevent him from producing any unauthorized Kiss merchandise. Okay, well, we've got other jokes, other topics, other themes. But why did Gene Simmons Kiss guitarist Gene Simmons, why did the buxom groupie who was in bed making love to Gene Simmons, what was it that Mr. Simmons said to her that caused her to jump out of the bed in the middle of the lovemaking and run to the nearest phone and dial 911 for help?
What?
He said, "Let's listen to my solo album now." I liked it. He's laughing. Yeah, let's do some local humor, huh? Hey, what? To commemorate his 70th birthday, can you guys believe that Sir Paul McCartney is 70 years old? Where did the time go? To commemorate his 70th birthday, what was Sir Paul McCartney's gift to himself?
What now?
What?
Oh, he threw all his Ringo Starr CDs into the trash. How was Beetle George Harrison? Beetle George. How was Beetle George, good old George? How was Beetle George able to correctly diagnose arthritis in a middle-aged fan who approached him for an autograph at London's Gatwick Airport? Well, there was something in the way she moved. All right. What did Beetle Paul exclaim as he leapt out of his chair on stage at a contest which incidentally raised over £1 million for a leukemia charity? What did Beetle Paul exclaim as he leapt out of his chair? He was a celebrity judge at this contest, ladies and gentlemen. The contest took place in 1999 in Birmingham, and then, as I say, they raised quite a bit of money. It was a very good contest. Beetle Paul was the judge. It was a contest where they had 150 contestants of all types, all races, ages, religions, you name it. And Beetle Paul sat at the back of the stage. They had a folding table there, and he had a yellow notepad, and he was taking notes on these contestants. 150 contestants. What did Beetle Paul exclaim as he leapt out of his chair when he had finally found the winner of this contest? Does anyone know? This contest, which generated quite a bit of press as well as money, this was a public urination contest. Beetle Paul sat there as all these contestants, ranging from 8 to 88 years of age, walked onto the stage, and they had these little Chinese bowls. I'll never forget these bowls. Little white bowls around the rim with these little pictures of deer, little Chinese deer, and then these Chinese characters. I don't know what it said. Very beautiful bowls, not cheap. These are very nice bowls. These bowls were laid out on the stage, and the contestants would come out to the front of the stage and unzip their pants and drop their drawers and either stand or squat over the bowls and fill them with urine as Beetle Paul took notes. And he had seen 149 of these contestants, and finally number 150 came out, and Beetle Paul knew he had seen enough. He knew that he had found the winner. What did he exclaim when he leapt out of his seat? Does anybody know? When he saw this great contestant, he jumped up and he said, "Peed best." Peed best. Because of course, this was very fun. This was a very funny moment. If you were there for him to say this, the people really. I won't take Beetle Paul's material anymore. But you had to be there. It was a very funny experience. Okay, we have got a couple of more gags here, and then of course we'll fill the room with the cyanide gas as advertised. Thanks to Tim Heidecker, ladies and gentlemen. One of the younger acts on the circuit, and of course we'll be doing many shows in the weeks and the months and the days to come. Okay, here we go. Let's get something good going here. Let's cook up something special, huh? What do you call the creatures who were found growing in the pile of old potato chip wrappers and discarded G-strings behind Britney Spears' house? Her children. Why did Britney Spears toss a dozen buffalo chicken wings into the toilet bowl? Well, because she mistook it for her own open mouth. All right. Hey, this place has a lot of different rooms. There must be 25 theaters in this building. I don't know if you've been to all of them. They've got plays and musicals and comedy acts and performance acts, and there's a guy that craps out candles every 5 minutes, and then there's a nun that sings and beautiful hymns and things like that. I mean, it's all The whole spectrum is covered. I don't know if this show came to London, England, but there was a show touring around the world recently, which I had the great pleasure to see, and I think that one of the upper theaters would be perfect for this show if it ever comes to your shores. Did anybody happen to see the John Stamos variety show? Does anybody see this thing that was touring? Oh my God, you gotta see it. He's had this thing on the road for a couple of years. I actually saw Mr. Stamos' variety show 2 weeks ago for the first time in Santa Barbara, California. The show's interesting. It starts with the curtains opening, and onto the stage comes not John Stamos, but a little kangaroo, a little 3-year-old kangaroo from the Sydney, Australia Zoo. Cutest thing you've ever seen. This little kangaroo hops out onto the stage, and as comical music blares over the PA, he does a series of figure eights. It's really something. This goes on for about 3 or 4 minutes. Then this little kangaroo, this little baby kangaroo, reaches into his pouch, which has been pre-packed with all of Stamos' bowel movements over the past 48 hours, reaches into his pouch, pulls out these old Stamos feces and thrusts them into the fool faces of everyone in the front row. That's how the show starts. But it gets better. It gets better because in Act 2, Stamos himself takes the stage. John Stamos walks center stage, walks to the very edge of the stage, unzips his pants, drops his trousers around his ankles, turns around, bends over, and whistles a medley of 409, Surfin' Safari, and I Get Around out of his own asshole. A tribute to the Beach Boys. But I think it's the finale of the show that impressed me the most. Because for the finale, Mr. Stamos again takes the stage, this time accompanied by a mule, a donkey. A donkey from the St. Louis, Missouri Zoo. And over the course of the next few moments, John Stamos proceeds to masturbate this mule to completion. Now, standing to his left, the original former lead singer of Frankie Goes to Hollywood performs a version of Relax on a 12-string classical guitar. You gotta see this show. You gotta see it. The show's got everything. The show's got everything. But what, my friends, what is the one thing, the one and only thing that you will not see at the John Stamos variety show? A full house. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My